Well, good evening, everybody. Happy Monday night. Check 1, 2, 3. It's good to be live with you here Monday night. Hopefully, you all are doing well. Uh, it's good to be here. It's still cold, so I still got my beanie on. But we're here. Hopefully, some people are going to come in. We'll have a good conversation tonight. Good time of coming together. Those of you who are going to be here tonight who perhaps missed Royal We Fellowship on Saturday, my Royal We Fellowship channel, for whatever reason, would not let me gain any access. I didn't quite know what to do with it. I don't know if it was an issue on YouTube's end or mine. It seemed to have just been blocked. And I didn't make a notification on my main channel because it's a separate channel. But for those of you who are wondering what happened to Royal We Fellowship, that's that. I'm going to be working this week to do whatever I can to get that going again. I'm not exactly sure why that particular channel just became unresponsive. I don't know, but at any rate, we're here tonight to talk, and I will, like I said, I'm going to do whatever I can. I may have to make an announcement on this channel or on the regular channel about Royal We Fellowship. If it has to be a different channel, if I have to start over, I don't know. But I will keep you guys notified on that. Let me go ahead and post the telephone number for tonight so we can start chatting. For those of you who would like an opportunity to call in and talk, it would be great to talk with you. Let me get my telephone number. I still don't have the number memorized yet, but here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here's the telephone number. Eight. Okay. Go ahead and get that up. Call in. All right. That should be posted to the top, everybody. How is everybody doing? It's good to see all of you in here. Thank you, Tanya, for the reminder to post that telephone number. Andrea, it's good to see you. Joe in the know, good to see you. Ellen C., how are you? Jack, it's good to see you here. How is everybody doing? Dana is here. How are you doing? Right on. It's good to see all of you here. I shouldn't have put the call in. What's up, Purple Queen? Hey, Shelly. Hi, Vicky. How are you? So I'll go ahead and get this party started tonight. Let's see, what else? Other than Royal We Fellowship not working, not functioning, the channel wasn't functioning on Saturday, so I wasn't able to do it, not on my mobile device or on the or on my desktop, and I couldn't make a community post. I just couldn't access it. I don't know if it's a Google account issue. I was doing some changes on my Google account over this last week, but I don't know if that caused it or not. It seemed to have been a Google issue. I just don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure that out, but I couldn't post anything on that, and that's a bummer. So I apologize if anybody was waiting for Royal We Fellowship. That was a bummer. This channel seems to be fine. My regular channel is fine, but for whatever reason, that channel just it wouldn't open. It wouldn't do anything. But I'm glad you guys like my recent videos, and somebody just posted that. Vicky Whaley said loved your latest videos. Thank you so much, Vicky. I appreciate that because the videos that I'm making they take some time. I put some effort into them for y'all. And it was the 5G. Could have been the 5G. Yeah, Loretta says wondering what happened to you Saturday. That's what happened. I couldn't post. I couldn't make a community post. I couldn't do anything. So I'm gonna have to work on that this week for sure to get that resolved. But I'm glad you guys liked the video today. Today's video actually was just kind of spur of the moment. You know, I woke up this morning and, I still get vulnerable to thoughts and weird things. I need to just keep myself going and busy, just like all the rest of us. And so I said, hey, I'm going to take my camera, take my boy, and and head on over to the rock climbing gym. And here's what's interesting. When you go out and you do the rock climb, it happens all the time, no matter what I'm doing, working out, exercising, working on the Royal We, rock climbing, doing whatever I'm doing, there's no room for toxicity. This is the challenge that we have on ourselves coming out of toxic relationships. One of the interesting things I've learned in life is that our mind and our body naturally wants to take on challenges. We're just built that way. We need, especially as we grow, we need to challenge ourselves. We need to make sure we're challenging ourselves. If we're not, then our mind automatically goes to something that is challenging, that we don't have to do anything. And what is challenging? Well, toxic relationships are challenging, are they not? You know, we can sit there and think about, well, what do we do? Or what do we say? Or what if we would have said this? What if we would have said that? I think what's going on is that we are challenging, in our minds, we're challenging ourselves to figure it out, right? So, but we know that's a bad idea. You can't do that because it's never, no matter what you come up with, it's not going to change. And so the message for today was to understand that you need to challenge yourself, but take it elsewhere. You've got to out-challenge or out-compete the narcissist. So the narcissist is in your mind, right? The toxic relationship seeped inside of you, and it threatens you. It's a challenge. It threatens to take over your thoughts and energy. But if you out-challenge the narc, you out-challenge the narcissist by competing with yourself, making thank you, Vicky, by the way. Oh, Tanya, I didn't get it. I'll have to check for that. But you challenge yourself. You challenge the narcissist. You out-challenge the narcissist by challenging yourself to get them out of your mind. And what are you winning? You're winning your mind back. You're winning your thoughts. You're winning your energy. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So, Tanya said she sent a picture. I didn't get it. I didn't. When did you send it, Tanya? I've got to check this out. I'm going to look right now, as a matter of fact. Hope that's okay. I'm not sure when Tanya sent it. Must have been recently. Tanya, I have nothing. Are you sure you got the right Instagram account? Join the Royal We? Or was it Facebook, Tanya? Is it Instagram? My Instagram is Join the Royal We. I don't even have you on my Instagram, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen you on Instagram. No. I don't see anything. Let me go to my other account here. Nope. Tanya, I got nothing. So, oh, thank you. Thank you, D. Appreciate that. A cousin of mine, D, if you're referring to a cousin, a sibling with that has the coronavirus, appreciate that. I appreciate that. It didn't come up. Hey, do me a favor, Tanya. You may have to double check your tag on that because I don't see it. No. I don't see it, Tanya. Just sent it again. The Royal We. Oh, no. No, Tanya. It's Join the Royal We is my Instagram. Join the Royal We. Just like this channel. So, Tanya, you're probably, whoever the Royal We is on Instagram, and I don't know what that is. It could be anything. It could be a band. they're probably getting the picture. You're probably tagging them. So I'm sorry, Tanya. It's going to have to be at Join the Royal We. That's my Instagram. My Instagram account is Join the Royal We. Just like this channel, when I tried to get the Royal We, it was taken. So somebody else is getting your mug shots or your shots with you in the mug. Join the Royal We. Okay, while you work on that, I'll answer Andrea's question here. Andrea says, I'm grieving the removal of my narc mother. So how do I process that? Or what does that involve? And by the way, any of these questions, you're welcome to call in. We can talk live over the telephone if you would like to, if you don't mind having your voice. You don't have to give your full name or anything like that. But if you'd rather just talk about the situation, we can do that. But the question is, removal of the narc mother, how do I process that, or what does that involve? And that's a very, very difficult issue to process. The removal of a mother. I guess removal of a mother meaning no contact. And it depends on how old you are. I think how you process it, at least this is how I process it with parents. I lost my mother back when back in 2010. To alcohol, and then I just lost my dad 2 summers ago now. And I remember when I lost my dad, when I lost my mom, it was just real numbing. And, again, she died of alcohol, an alcohol addiction, and I was real numb, had a very difficult time processing that. My dad passed away. I think I just kind of broke down finally for the first time, realizing I don't have any parents, and I don't have any hierarchy over me. And for me, the Lord spoke to me, met me there and said, Kevin, you are the parent. You are the hierarchy. It's kind of like look, there comes a point in time you're not supposed to rely on parents. And so the first thing is that depending on your age, you have to have the understanding that at some point in life, the idea behind parents, moms and dads is not for a lifelong joining together. That's not the purpose of that relationship. And I know this is very difficult for a lot of people to try to understand, especially in today's culture. We've been babied and we have been led into this narrative of believing that we are attached to our parents all of our lives. And we are responsible to take care of our parents. They wiped our butts when we were babies. Therefore, we have to wipe their butts when they're old. And that is not scriptural. It is not biblical. The ancient understanding of family is what was written in Genesis. Therefore, a man and a woman shall leave thy mother and thy father and become united to a new partner, and the two become one. And this is just how life is. But through narratives, and especially in Western world narratives, that the family always sticks together and it becomes like a gang or a tribe, and you just don't know what to do if you have to be apart from them. Understand that you were raised with a lot of dependencies, a lot of dependencies thrust into your life. In other words, you're force-fed that narrative, maybe by your parents, maybe by teachers. So you can process it in a way that says, you don't have to have a relationship with them. They're your first family, but not your only family. It's another way to understand it. Your first family is the family you have no choice with. You're born into it. But that's just your first family. But after that, you get to choose your family, right? That's the idea behind marriage. But it doesn't have to be marriage. You can find family with friends, with groups. Jesus made this point perfectly clear in the New Testament of the Bible when people came running to him saying, Jesus, your mom and your brothers want to talk to you. And Jesus said, who is my mother? Who is my brothers? And then he pointed to his disciples and he said, this is my family now. This is my family. So if the Lord is able to say, look, his message is this, to you all, this family should take priority over everything else. But I'm telling you, no, that's incorrect. Don't put your mom and dad on such a pedestal all your life that you choke out your own life. So if your life has been choked out, if you have been missing out on marriage, friendships, jobs, hobbies, fulfillment of your own dreams, pursuing your own thing, if you've missed out on these things because of your parents, then you have allowed your parents to choke you out and govern your life. And so you can look at it that way too. And then you can ask, well, who has the right to govern my life? Am I not a sovereign individual? Am I not a soul? Am I not a spirit that the Lord has created that's good enough and wise enough to live my own life? Why do I do only what my mother and father tell me to do? So that's another way to process it. And again, it's harsh, I know. The other way, it's even harsher, is understanding that family, look, just because it's called family doesn't mean it's good. We all know this. Abuse and dysfunction begins in the home. That's just the reality of it, the harsh reality. Our first exposure to narcissistic abuse or any abuse is under the roof of our parents. It's just, or siblings. Horrific things happen. I think we need to understand that just because they have a title of mom or dad doesn't make them loving, right? So you have to do what's best for you. Hope that makes sense. Andrea, I know I gave a mouthful there. Another question here. Neon Eagle Spirit, would someone who's bipolar be considered narcissistic? Excellent question. I'm going to work on a video for this week, but the answer is simple, and I'll just give it to you straight up. It doesn't matter. It could be. Yes. Here's what we need to think of when we think of narcissistic. Narcissistic is any. I mean, there's diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder, but what we use narcissism as a word for, as an umbrella of abusive personality types that put others, that put themselves so far above others that they don't care, they lack empathy, concern, or consideration for other people. They can hurt other people. And so when you look at this type of personality type, it doesn't matter if they're borderline, bipolar, histrionic, or whatever, right? If they're behaving in this way, if they're stepping on other people for their own benefit, if they're pushing others' feelings aside so that they can yell, scream, cuss, and shout and feel good, then you're in that territory of narcissistic behavior, narcissistic rage, if you will. And so my take on it is that does it help you to know the personality disorder? Perhaps. But does it mean you can have a relationship with them? No. You know what I mean? It's like, I've never heard anybody say, well, I found out they were bipolar, and, the relationship's great now. It doesn't. So bipolar, borderline, narcissistic, abuse is abuse at the end of the day, and it doesn't matter. And I know people struggle with this and say, well, somebody's got to love these people. Yeah, and there's people out there for that, but it's not you, it's not me, right? And by love, we also need to understand what that means. We can love them. I mean, I can love borderlines and bipolar and histrionic. I can love these people. We all can. But it has to be a love that comes from a place of meeting at a certain level, and then that's it. The intimacy can only go so far. Because of my nature, because of their nature, I would liken it to how you are able to come across in the wilderness, how close you are able to get to a certain species that's not like you, right? I mean, sure, you can walk up to a jackass, you can walk up to a donkey. You might even be able to put some grass in the donkey's mouth. You might even be able to touch a donkey. I know people who've gotten close to herds of donkeys and close enough to touch them. But at the end of the day, you're not going to follow them home, right? You're not gonna sit and eat with them, right? So you can gaze, you can, from a distance have awe. You could be like, cool, and be nice. But at the end of the day, you got to go your separate ways. The same is true with, I would say, any personality disorder type person that is threatening to you. If you think about it, a donkey. Wild animals threatening to you. Even if they're nice and calm and eating out of your hand one moment, it doesn't mean you can take it home. It's going to be threatening to you. I'm never surprised when I hear those stories on the news sometimes of people who have captured wild animals. There was a story of one guy who caught, I guess it was what was it? A baby coyote, perhaps. Thought it would be cute, took it and raised it, and in an apartment, for crying out loud, and raised it in the apartment. It grew, it became big, coyote size, and he thought, well, since I raised the thing, it knew me, and we had a great night. He wrestled with it as a baby, this and that, kept it in a cage. One day, the dang thing snapped on him. It just went full coyote mode, which it always does because it's a coyote, and just bit into the guy's arm like nothing else. And he had to fight the thing to get it back in its cage. The thing was thrashing about. This was a coyote that he raised. It's thrashing about, eating the guy's arm half off, and he had to get rid of it. And, the guy was brokenhearted. Kind of reminds of how we all get with narcissists, right? It's like, even though the guy had his arm half gnawed off, by this wild animal, he was still just kind of tearful. The memories, and I raised it, and I do it again. I miss him. I miss him. He was my friend. And, it's like it's just a complete brain detachment from the fact of, hello, there's a reason we don't domesticate and raise coyotes. You just, so I it's the same thing. You're going to come across personality disordered people who are different types in their mind. They are. This is something we don't like to hear. We like to go, oh, human. Oh, human. Oh, you're just like me. Oh, well, we're all human, and you think like me. You're just like me. Your spirit is my spirit. We do that with people, and thanks to a lot of really false narratives out there, and we have it's become so gray. We have no separation in our minds. We've forgotten how to divide ourselves from the behaviors of other people and to separate themselves, And I hear this in some phone calls. I had a phone call, a one-on-one appointment not too long ago, and the lady was like, well, I just, I believe that if I can work with them, I can help them reach their true authenticity. And when I believe I'm a light-carrying light bearer, and I am here to help people reach their authenticity, and I see they can become authentic. And I tried to get this across in a video, but I may have to redo it because I don't know if it was effective enough. But my response to her was, how do you know that person isn't authentic? How do you know they're not authentic in their abusive nature? If you ask, I want to get across. Listen, stop. What makes you think that their authenticity is going to look like yours? You're staying with an abusive person because you think that they'll be more. You can make them authentic. Well, what if abuse is their authenticity? What if murderers and killers out there are doing that because that is authentically what they do? And people's minds get blown when we talk about this. Listen, people in jail, people that line the inside of jails because they've murdered others, killed other people, they think they've done nothing wrong. If you ask me, they really, a lot of them are confused. They would think that there's nothing wrong with their actions had they not been arrested and put in jail. They're confused as to why anybody would come down on them. I mean, if you ask me, that says that they're living out of their own authenticity. And that's a scary thought, because now people are like, oh my gosh, that means their authentic self is different than mine. Yeah. Again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. You can't bring in a coyote and eat with it. You just can't. I know we desire to, but you can't. We need to be able to separate different personality types. You can get as deep down that rabbit hole if you want to, or you don't have to. It's up to you. I'm just here to say, listen, I've come across all different kinds of people, and there's all different kinds of people in this world, and sooner or later you're going to have to figure out who you are and where you belong. Otherwise, you're going to keep walking into the same pit of snakes where you don't belong. You're going to be messing with the same swine where you do not belong, because you have not yet gotten and understood, hey, maybe I should not be hanging out with bipolar people, right? I get they're out there and I can learn to be nice and loving, but I've got to understand my distance, because I'm not made to be playing hopscotch with those people. Hopefully that helps. I'm just talking. I'm listening to myself jibber jabber now. Thank you, everybody, for the support. I appreciate that. What have I missed? Any other questions? Take this outside, girl. Oh, Joe in the know. You mean cash me outside? Cash me outside. How about that? Cash me outside. How about that? Yeah, man. That girl was. And then she attacks Dr. Phil. You know, here's what's weird about these personality types, narcissists and others. Not only do they have that attitude, cash me outside, how about that? I'll fight you. They're aggressive, but this is where you and we need to be aware. Anybody who comes into their lives trying to help them will be punished. If you try to help a narcissist, a bipolar, a borderline person, you will be punished for trying to help them, because they look at that as you thinking you're better than them. They look at that as you being on some kind of a hierarchy. They look at that as you need to be taken down. That's exactly what that cash me outside girl did to Dr. Phil. You know, she had a bad experience at the ranch. I get it. Maybe the ranch sucked, but man, she went after Dr. Phil. And she was like mouthing off, you know, and how dare you, Dr. Phil, and you know, and I'm not done with you. I'm not done with you. Just threat after threat after threat. And I'm like, girl, if it wasn't for Dr. Phil, you wouldn't even be known right now. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what it is. These people, these personality types also don't like to live under the shadow that they're known because of somebody else. They'll try to punish that person. Yeah. Yeah, sociopaths, psychopaths, bipolars, borderlines. I've experienced them, man. These types of erratic, violent individuals. You know, it's like a video that I posted, not today's video, but the video yesterday. How many of you had the opportunity to watch that about the wedding ring that is meant to hurt the girl if she takes it off? If you haven't seen that video, I encourage you to watch that video. Because in the video, part of the segments in that video, and it's about a young couple, young Hollywood couple that has their attention because the message is kind of toxic. They're in this trip of, well, love is pain. And so the ring is meant to signify that if she ever takes it off, it's going to be painful. And people are like, that's kind of a toxic message, don't you think? Yeah. So anyways, in that, I put a voice clip of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. How many of you have heard of that couple? Man, that couple was a nightmare, you know, and just a nightmare of narcissism. And what's sad is that, and I'll say this right now, I've listened to a lot of the documents. I've listened to the depositions, some of them. When I used to work, this was like 3 or 4 years ago. I would just listen to what was going on. And Amber Heard's crazy. I mean, I'm just going to put that out there. She's crazy. And whatever she did to Johnny Depp, and I'm not saying Johnny Depp is an angel and he's perfect, because he's not. He's a Hollywood dude too, and I'm sure he was a player, and I'm sure he was, you know, out there with all kinds of women, and I'm sure he didn't commit to any of them, and I'm sure he broke some people's hearts. But one thing he didn't do, and this was made clear by Johnny Depp's exes, who he probably broke their hearts because he wouldn't stay. But one thing he wasn't was abusive, and they all said that. Johnny's not. He doesn't cuss and scream and yell at people. He doesn't fight people. He's not mean in that way. Sure, he's a player, but he's not mean. He's not vicious. But he came in contact with this Amber Heard girl, happened to be younger than him. Kind of reminds me of a little bit more of a classy version of Cash Me Outside. And man, that girl just she did something to him big time. I mean, she seems like the type, she would start a fight with him, then go set up a camera on a table so he would come in and finish the fight that she started and record him. Some shady stuff. And he went to the hospital once with his finger cut off. And in what I posted, she made the statement, you don't fight for me. You don't fight, basically saying you don't fight me. You won't fight me. You won't fight for me. Anytime we have a fight, you run. And Johnny Depp saying, look, you throw pots and pans. I don't want to, of course I'm going to run. Oh, and she's like, oh, you're just making excuses. That means you get to run? Basically saying, no, you fight. That's how you fight for me. It's by letting me. And I'm listening to this going, man, this girl is crazy. That's crazy talk. And it just sparked me in this idea of like, wow, narcissistic people, and I still need to make this video, by the way, they really believe that in order to fight for them, you have to fight with them. That's how you prove you fight for them. Can somebody please explain to me, if you understand, if any of that makes sense? Fight me so that you show me that you fight for me. If I'm throwing pots and pans at you, if you run, it means you don't want to fight for me. What? See, to me, that's crazy because that can end tragically and somebody can die. I mean, people go to the hospital. Johnny Depp already had his finger cut off. So somebody help me understand what that means, fight me, in order to show that you fight for me. And anyways, it's just crazy. So crazy. And I just felt bad. I felt bad for Johnny Depp. And I mean, listen, like I said, he's not perfect, and I'm sure he was a player, and maybe, just maybe Johnny Depp needed that. Maybe, I think at some point in our lives when we get big-headed and think we can make anything a conquest, right? And I'm sure Johnny Depp thought, another girl, I can make her my conquest. And man, he got mixed up with the wrong coyotes, if you know what I'm saying, right? And I think that happens to a lot of people. Listen, I'm going to say this. I should make a video of this too. I have known narcissists to get out narcissists by other narcissists. I'm going to say this again. I have known narcissists who have gotten out narcissists, I've known narcs who have gotten out narked by other narcissists. In other words, played worse. I knew a guy that was out running around, cheated on his wife, left the family, left the kids, got married to another woman, messed that up, went to a third woman, and for whatever reason, he really fell for that woman. I don't know if he fell. I don't know what it was. That woman was crazy. Wife number 3 was crazy. This girl was out having affairs on him. And she was out sunbathing, like topless and stuff in their backyard. He would tell me this thing. Yeah, I came home. My neighbor said, man, your wife's out there with her boobs out, for everybody in the neighborhood to see in the backyard, sunbathing. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. What do you, and he was, I don't know what I'm going to do. He was so smitten over her for some reason. And sure enough, she finally out-narked him, pushed him out. He was at church. He was trying to get his life back together while he was with this girl, going to church, and this wife ended up calling the police on him, claiming that he was doing stuff to her, and they went to church in his men's group and pulled him out and took him away for a night, and anyways, all the charges were dropped. But what a horror show. I felt bad for him, but I knew his background, and I knew that he had broken hearts in the past. I knew that he acted very narcissistic. It changed him, though. It did change him. Yeah, he was out-narked. So it is possible for narcissists to get out-narked. They just have to come across somebody who is less caring than they are. And I am under the impression that most narcissists, at some point in their life, they're going to look back at the wave of destruction that they've left. and they're going to try to grab onto something that's going to redeem them. And I am under the impression that that thing they're going to try to grab onto to redeem them is going to out-narc them. It's going to hurt them. Anyways, okay, here. Let me see. Any other questions? Was anyone else forced into a relationship wanting to leave? I don't know anything but toxic, and she isn't as bad as some. I'm not sure if that's a question or a statement. I'm not sure what the question is. I'll move on until I get another response from that question. Miss Cam says, can you talk about communal narcissists? I think my mom is one. In front of people, she's one way at church, work, marriages, but fake. Yeah. My sister and I talk about how fake she is. All narcissists are fake. I'm not sure exactly the communal part. When I think of communal narcissism, I think of a group of narcissists together who act together, right? Typically, like dysfunctional families can be a collective narcissist. I'm not sure if that's what you mean, collective narcissism or communal narcissists, but all narcissists are one way in public and a different way behind closed doors. That's just what they're known for. They're abusive behind closed doors. They're abusive in their home, but publicly they are, get along with everybody. That's just narcissism. That's narcissism. So I wouldn't worry too much about the communal part, because that doesn't. I don't think that's an important aspect to know. But if they are abusive people who just get along in public, just know that that is a typical narcissistic tactic. Very, very typical. Let's see. Yeah. Right on. Well, I think I jibber jabbered plenty. Hope I didn't miss anything. Sorry for my silence. I'm reading all of your comments here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Well, listen, everybody. Yeah. LNC says it perfectly. We can divide narcs into categories, borderline, bipolar, whatever. But at the end, abuse is abuse. No room for it. Period. There's a part 2, Kevin. What's a part 2? Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate your blessing. I receive that. Keep talking. I was just going. Sorry, Loretta. Loretta's like, just keep talking. I was going, man. My mouth is on fire tonight. Just going and going. Do you ever miss people you went no contact with? I've no contacted quite a few, and it hurts sometimes. Yes, expect that hurt. It's not that you miss them. It's that going no contact and not talking to certain people goes against how you thought you would have to be in this life. None of us ever think about that we're going to have people that we just can't talk to, especially as we grow older. We typically think we should be able to talk with anybody. It's not true. So we have to learn to let that go. Yeah. But I do miss them. I miss them too. I miss the idea, right? And that's what we all miss. We miss the idea of what we could have had. Yeah. Was anyone else forced into a relationship wanting to leave? I don't know anything but toxic, and she isn't as bad as some. I just can't deal with the fact that it was forced. I also don't like lies. Was anyone else forced into a relationship wanting to leave? Uh, you know, okay, so to the person's asking, is anybody else forced into relationships? No, nobody should be forced into any relationship. I mean, look, what does it say about you if you're forced? I mean, at some point, you got to realize that you have a voice. Hopefully, you have two legs. Hopefully, you have two arms. If not, hopefully, you have wheels. Hopefully, you have something that can get you out of a door, out of a building that you don't belong in. You know, we don't live in a we're free. We're a free country. We've got to stop with this. We're forced stuff. Forced. I'm forced. I'm forced. I'm not. Listen, I understand the feeling because I felt when I lived back in California with my family, there were moments where I felt forced to do this, and I was feeling forced to spend time here and forced to go there until I finally said, no more. We're out. We moved 5 states away. Haven't looked back. And I'm like, how's that? Forced. Ain't nobody gonna force nothing. We will straight up disappear, right? And get out. Nobody can ever force you to do anything. This is what makes abusive relationships and dynamics so difficult because people don't want to see their part in it. And this is not victim shaming, but their part in it is refusing to see that they're not forced, but that they are in, and I got to be very careful here, in some way, a willing participant in it by not getting out. And people can say all kinds of stuff. Well, I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. I don't have the means. But then that's not the abusive person's fault. Well, but they made it difficult and they took my job from me. It's still not the abusive person's fault because again, it's giving way too much power to another person over your life. You're a sovereign individual. You are a spirit-filled being first, made in the image and likeness of God. It's written in the book of Genesis. Look it up. Let us make mankind in our likeness. One person, Adam. And then this is where we all began. We're made complete. We don't, we have to follow rules at work and we have to obey laws by police officers and governments and this and that so we're not arrested and thrown in jail. But when it comes to mingling and socializing with other people, we don't follow any of their you're not under their control. You're just not. Hope that makes sense. Who thinks Hugh Hefner is a man of dreams, but she was only 19 and thought he would help her career? Well, whoever thinks Hugh Hefner is a man of dreams who's 19 and thought he would help her career, well, maybe that girl should have aspired to be more than naked. I mean, look, I think that if you're looking to Hugh Hefner to further your career, then that's the lifestyle you're choosing, right? It means you just want to be naked and gawked at because you know that's what Hugh Hefner does. What else? You don't go to Hugh Hefner if you want help in a career of ministry. I mean, I don't, but I must have missed that conversation. No backup. Sorry, Deborah. Deborah's like, Kevin, you're cutting in. You're cutting in and not knowing what we're talking about. Oh, I see what's going on. Documentary coming on about Hugh Hefner and his girlfriend. She thought she found the man of her dreams, and he didn't allow her to leave. Oh. That's interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out. We'll have to see how that plays out. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, you always choose. You always choose. I would say, I mean, Hugh Hefner was known to have all kinds of girls in his house come and go. There's a fine line between someone literally not allowing you to leave and feeling as though you can never get anything better if you do leave, therefore you feel you have to stay. And I'm not suggesting that in that scenario you're feeling like a prisoner, because maybe you are, maybe she was. But something tells me that Hugh Hefner would have held the door wide open for her and said, see ya, at any point, because Hugh Hefner had a never-ending revolving door of girls. And so I don't see why one would be more important than the rest when you have a lifestyle like Hugh Hefner's. And I am sure that any girl that screamed, "Let me out! I want out now!" I don't see why he would not say goodbye and don't come back. But like I said, if you're in this mansion for God knows how many years and acting as a girlfriend, doing for Hugh Hefner what Hugh Hefner wants you to do, but you have access to chefs serving you food all the time, and that's all you know, and you have your own room, and you've got pools, and you've got parties, and that's your life, and then suddenly we're saying, okay, go, bye. And then you said, well, I don't know where I would go. Okay, well, then stay. I could see how that would make a person feel like a prisoner. They would just be like, well, he's making me stay. He's not going to. Basically, it may have just been a thing where she's saying he wouldn't pay me to leave. I want the money and lifestyle without him. And in that kind of situation, well, and by the way, there's a lot of people like that. I'm not trying to trash talk. Listen, we all know that there's narcissistic men and narcissistic women. We know that. And there's a lot of women out there that want to get married just so they can leave and get the life that they had married, but on their own. It happens. That's part of what's built into that type of narcissistic personality. That's what they expect. And then when they find out that no, they can't have that life that they lived here out there, then they get mad. Well, you're making me stay and you're not letting me go and have everything that I want to have. No, it doesn't work like that. That would be like me walking into a career and working for a while, then saying, I'm done with this. I'm leaving now. Please keep sending my paychecks to this address. An employer is going to say, are you dumb? You're not going to work here anymore, but you want paychecks to continue to go to you. And I'm not talking about, don't get me wrong, this is not in reference to child support or anything like that. This is without children. This is just lifestyle. I want lifestyle checks. Keep sending the lifestyle checks, please. No, doesn't work like that. Joe in the Know says, Kevin, do you think if you change your pattern of thinking throughout your day by doing different things in time, like a few months, it reboots your brain to help have a clear mind and clarity? Yeah. It's difficult to change your pattern of thinking. Today's video was kind of about that. It was changing the pattern of thinking by actually changing the actions, right? So woke up, went climbing, got my mind on something else other than drama, other than trauma, and just climbed and worked out. And listen, when you're hanging off of a wall, you're automatically thinking, 20 feet in the air, you're thinking differently, right? You're thinking about how not to fall off. And so, yes, if you do this enough, it changes your patterns of thinking. It does. Your mind gets used to accepting new challenges, thinking in different ways, and it changes you. It changes. Yeah, it reboots the brain. Yeah, it's weird when you think about our brains as being just a memory bank that's connected with just neurotransmitters, just beaming back and forth, inside little electrons. And when you think of it this way, yeah, it's sending energy into certain areas, certain memories that are challenging. So keep challenging your mind, people. Challenge yourselves to grow. Challenge your minds on a daily basis. Challenge yourself to do new things. Challenge yourself. Loretta, I recently told the narc that he is jeopardizing my health, and that's not going to happen no more. It's good. It's good. That's real good. All right. Listen. Oh, my goodness. Would you look at that time? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for bed. It is time to go to sleep. It's time to get that shut eye. I start to sing and act weird when I'm getting tired. So close your eyes, oh little dreamers. Close your eyes and go to sleep. Close your eyes and be back here next Monday night for more talking. Hopefully some phone calls. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Lots of love to you. Watch out for more videos this week on the Royal We. We'll miss you all. Tanya, do me a favor. Tag me again. Or at least, look, Tanya, why don't you friend request me or something? Can you do that? I don't know what's up. Join the Royal We. At Join the Royal We. I'm still looking. I still don't have a tag from you. I don't. Not at all. I want to see it. I want to see it. Still nothing. Nothing, Tanya. Nothing. Or, Tanya, even send it to, yeah, gosh, man. I don't know. Resend it, Tanya. Good night, everybody. Have a great night. Talk to you next week. Bye.